And welcome to our April edition of Sports Highlights, April 2025. Greg Picaveras, glad you're with us. Our program since February of 1992, and it airs on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., weekends at 9 a.m. on Cox Cable 47, 517, NNPSTV.com at the same time, always on social media and YouTube as well. Our guests for April are Shomari Wright and Jane Marioneaux. Let's welcome the brand new head football coach for 2025, Shomari Wright. He played at Heritage. He is the head coach. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Very good. Congratulations, first of all. You've been an assistant at several places, including Heritage and Woodside, and you were at the Achievable Dream.
Yes.
Talk about your football background.
Well, I went to Heritage, so I've been playing football since I was 6 years old. Grew up Newport News, went to Heritage, played under 3 different coaches. I got the opportunity to play college football at Christopher Newport right down the road. And right after I graduated, I wanted to still be involved in football. I knew probably NFL wasn't, in my near future, so I decided to take the coaching route. I got the opportunity to coach at Grafton High School, my first year right off. From there, I learned so much under various head coaches there at Grafton. Then I went over to Christopher Newport to coach assistants with the DBs and safeties. And then I got the opportunity to come back and coach at my alma mater, Heritage, for a year. And I worked under Alonzo Cody at Woodside for a year, and here I am.
How was your experience as a player at CNU?
It was a learning experience. A lot learned from Coach Kelchner. He just taught me so many things, especially dealing with adversity. In my first year, I didn't really play much, and it was upsetting. Seeing some of my teammates, some of my roommates, playing, and I'm like not getting any reps at all. So it was humbling. But as the years progressed, I just stayed with the program. I stopped being a I player, playing for the team, kept working, kept grinding, and I got the opportunity to play. But it was a surreal experience once I just got the opportunity to start, and didn't look back from there. Helped lead the team to the longest playoff run in 2014. So it was great. Met some lifelong friends, and I still keep in contact with Coach Kelchner to this day. He taught me so much just as a man.
Right, so that lesson you learned, you had some adversity there, but you've used it to your advantage now as a head coach, and life is always going to be ups and downs.
Correct.
So you evolved.
Yes, sir.
And talk about that evolvement, because you're a mature person today, and of course you've got to lead young men, and that's not easy in today's world.
Correct. So there's something I can instill in these young men is never give up. Just coming from Heritage, starting out, had an 0-10 season my sophomore year. A lot of my teammates wanted to just transfer, wanted to quit. Then we had Coach Massenberg come in and change the program around my junior and senior year. And then going into college, not playing, I just had that mentality where things are going to go my way. If I continue to be persistent, not give up, I just leave. So I can instill that in the players, just tell them, things are going to get tough. They're going to fall down. It's just how many times you're going to get back up.
It's that discipline of those habits. I mean, Heritage has made the postseason a couple years in a row, but of course, back in the day, nobody made it with losing records. So You don't want to reward mediocrity.
Correct.
And that's the one thing. Oh, wow, we went 3-7, but you didn't have a winning record. Life is about getting ahead, and it's not how you win or lose, but it's how you play the game.
Correct.
And of course, but you still want to try to win as much as you can.
For sure.
That's your goal for this year.
That's the goal. The goal is definitely to win more games from last season, even the previous season. I think we do have a talented young bunch, but they have to learn how to work hard. Don't want them to think that anything is given to them. So that's one thing I'm still in the off season, is to make sure they are earning everything with ounce of hard work, from the classroom to the hallway to the weight room to the field.
Yeah, it's those habits, those little things that add up to big things. We're talking to Shomari Wright. He's a brand new head football coach of Heritage High School. They've had great coaches in the past like Kurt Newsom and John Quillen. They've won state championships, but it's those little habits that form a winning team. What they're doing now in April and May and June to get ready for August and September.
Correct.
That's your job to instill it.
Correct. One thing Coach Massenberg taught me is the little things. When I say the little things, it's being on time in class. making sure your headgear is off in school, making sure you're at study hall on time. Just the little things those develop a great team, and they develop great leadership and hold each other accountable. So that's what I'm trying to instill.
Talk about your staff that you think you're going to have in 25, because you obviously want to have people that, you don't always agree to disagree, but you want to have people that you get along with. That's just true whether it's a teammate or a coach.
For sure. So staff, I'm definitely looking for some alumni, looking at some alumni from the 2000 team who won a state championship, and I want them to bring that winning mindset back to Heritage. Also looking at some of my old teammates that, had the opportunity to play at the next level and they're in the area and, they understand what it takes to go to the next level and they know the hard work. So that's what I'm looking at so far, slowly building my staff as we go along in this off season.
Yeah, I think Heritage learned the hard way, too. It's not easy to replace a four-year quarterback.
Correct.
They had Gurley. You were there when he was there. And, of course, developing a quarterback is not easy at any level, whether it's high school, college, or pro. And I'm sure that's going to be something you're going to be working on, although you're a defensive guy, correct?
Correct. So, yes, definitely want to develop a quarterback. We had a quarterback that's a sophomore last year. Most likely he will be, and the ranks up #1 right now, but definitely looking for some developmental quarterbacks, upcoming freshmen or upcoming sophomores. We definitely have a lot of talent. So working with them all off season, maybe giving some extra time before workouts or after workouts. I think quarterback is the leader of the team. They have to be leaders on and off the field. So we got to develop them as young men, as high character guys. So that's a big thing I will be working on them this off season.
This is the April edition of Sports Highlights. Glad you're with us. Greg Picaveras and the wonderful crew we have assembled here with us. And, of course, it does take a village. And you look at the teams. This year it's going to be different, Shomari, because there's no Gloucester. And, of course, normally it would be 10 teams regular season. How are you going to fill that void?
So apparently the schedule was already created, before my hiring. So we have 2 teams already up there that's in our division, Booker T and Lake Taylor. So I think, just playing 2 teams that's in our division that helps us out with the playoffs because now, we're exposed to what we're going to be dealing with, potential matchups going into the playoffs. Those 2 good teams, the past 2 years they had some type of success. So I think it'll help us out, around the same playing field, fairly new coaches as well. So I think it'll be good competition going into the next 2 years.
And this kind of threw everybody off. This is the funniest thing. So Corey Harrison, of course, he's done well in the postseason. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought, I'm going to kick back, drink my iced tea, I'm good. All of a sudden now, Corey's coaching Grafton right up on Route 17. That threw everybody off because he's done at Warwick, and now he's with Grafton. You've been at Grafton before. Yes. What kind of move do you think that'll be for him?
I think it's a good move. Grafton, they have a great support system.
Yeah.
I coached there for 5 years. With the faculty, administration, the parents, they all have a great support system for the football team. The players, they do want to be, they want a good coach to support them. So I think his expertise will help those kids out, and you will see a big improvement in Grafton.
That would be nice if you can play them down the road.
Yes, for sure.
Why not? And of course, Heritage did play.
2 years ago.
Yeah, they played before York County schools, and some of them are they see each other in the playoffs.
Yes.
I remember Phoebus used to play York every year in the playoffs, so that's very good. Talk about the roster, and you're going to get it from the 9th graders, the 10th graders, the 11th graders, the 12th graders. You've had experience at the middle school level. Talk about how you wanted to develop the roster, and you mentioned transfers. You didn't see transfers 10 or 15 years ago, and now you might see somebody go to one school and go to another. For example, you're closer to Hampton High School than you are any Newport News school.
For sure. So, one thing, the guys that I have right now, I want to, make sure I keep them. So, like I said, big on never giving up and trying to take the easy route. So, I want them to I'm trying to help them out, help them understand that, all because things aren't going their way, that doesn't mean they can just up and leave, up and go somewhere, just stick to the program, stay the course. So that's one thing I'm sticking on. I'm hard on the kids right now. I believe also, just continue going to these middle schools. Luckily, they have middle school football, so I think that's good when we're trying to figure out who the roster is the next 3-4 years. We have Achievable Dream, they're 100% Heritage. Then you have Huntington and you have Crittenden. Majority of those kids go straight to Heritage. So, making sure that, I get my face out there so they can see who I am, just let them know. encourage them to come to off-season workouts when their season ends. But right now, we have a young bunch, really young 9th graders, rising 10th graders. So, I want to continue to develop the young kids and, build from there.
And it's got to be a good mix, too. They got to graduate. You want them to, you're a former college student, you want them to hit the books, and then so much to wear as a head coach. You got a lot more on your plate than you do when you're an assistant, because when you go home, you can go home for the most part, work on some things. Now you got to worry about, is there going to be water in the summer? Is there going to be other hydrated drinks? Do they have enough to eat during the summer? All that, busing, scheduling, it's all the head coach, the game plan, what type of offense and defense are you going to run, and what type of offense do you like in the past?
Offensively, what I did, Achievable Dream, we did some RPO systems. Definitely heavy on run. I want to establish the run fast, establish it early, and then opening up the pass. But I think, you're as strong as your front five. If your front five is good, we can do something. We can do a ground and pound, take 3-4 yards of play.
Sure.
So definitely want to establish the run.
Defense?
Defensively, something that's fairly new to the Peninsula District. I did it the last 2 years, 3 down. So you see Phoebus doing it sometimes. Denby did it, and Bethel did it a couple times. But, I'm heavy on 3 down. I think, my past 2 years with the roster I've had, we've had more athletes, DBs, hybrids, safeties. So get more of them out on the field, fly around, make sure the ball goes east to west. So big on 3 down, variation of different coverages, some throws a little blitz stunts, stems in. So
how important is it for your players in the varsity level to have consistent uniforms, home and away, not mix it up, but like when people see Heritage, they know Heritage when they first walk in the building, or even the same cleats. Is that important to you?
Yes, Coach K definitely, he was big on that, not try to be an individual. I think we're a team, and I think, some of these kids, they get away from that. They want to be individuals. However, this is a team sport, so I'm not going to, be hard on, have the same cleats, but make sure it's the same color. We're going to have the same color socks, the gloves, same color. We have to be a one unit, So that's one of my core values. We're a team first at the end of the day. There's no I in team. We're going to work together as a team. We're going to hold each other accountable. So uniformity is going to be on the top of my list.
Yeah. Talk about what advice would you give to somebody that wants to go to Heritage in the fall and play JV football or varsity?
Some advice is understand it's going to be hard work. You have to be a good student first, and then being an athlete comes second. If you're not a good student, then it's going to be hard to become an athlete. I'm big on academics. I'm big on behavior in the school. If you want to become an athlete or become a football player for Heritage High School, that's your number one priority. Get that done, and then when the football comes next, you'll have fun with that.
Exactly. All right. I want to thank our great guest today, Shomari Wright, brand new head football coach at Heritage High School. He's been at Woodside, he's been at Grafton, he's been at Achievable Dream, and he's bringing all that experience to be a Hurricane, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And 2025 will be year number 1 for his head coaching with the Hurricanes. Stay tuned for our next guest. We'll be talking about girls volleyball with Jane Marioneaux from Ella Fitzgerald Middle School. This is Sports Highlights, our April edition. We'll be back after the message.
You're watching NNPS TV. Catch sports highlights on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, and on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Visit us online at nnpstv.com to view all your favorite episodes. NNPS TV, watching education happen.
And welcome back to the Virginia High School 1600 meter state championship. As we get back to the action, we see Miles Monpoint is gaining on Antonio Boyd for the first place finish. Oh! Miles Monpoint just tripped Antonio Boyd.
But Trayvon is helping him up right now.
Trayvon is helping him up as Trayvon just sacrificed his third place finish to help out Antonio Boyd.
Yeah, that right there is kindness and excellent sportsmanship right there by Trayvon.
And welcome to our second segment of our April 2025 show. Greg Picaveras, glad you're with us. This is Sports Highlights, our interview show right here on NNPS TV and social media. Let's welcome our second guest, Jane Marioneaux. She's the head girls volleyball coach at Ella Fitzgerald Middle School. And of course, she won a championship in 2025. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We got all these medals here, and might as well let's get started. You won the championship, and talk about some of these past medals.
Well, these represent my time as a girls volleyball coach starting at Dozier, and then the name changed, of course, to Ella Fitzgerald, and I think that was in 2022 it changed. And the silvers, I got 3 silvers, 4 silvers, and 7 golds in that time span. 2010 was the inauguration of middle school volleyball.
Such a great idea. And volleyball is such a great team sport. There's not a whole lot of players, usually about 6, if I'm correct. And of course, it's a total team effort. Really, everybody has to be in sync.
Volleyball is like any team sport. There's no I in team. You have to have 3 hits. So one player simply cannot do it all. You have to teach team.
It's funny sometimes watching you coach, and when the players have to be proactive. You can't be reactive in the sport. Move to the ball, and I can sometimes see the coach's eyes, and not just yours, but the other coaches too, like move to the ball, because if you just sit there, the ball's not going to come to you necessarily.
No. Matter of fact, coaches always teach, put the ball where the player is not, make them go to the ball. So that's one of the things you have to teach and coach is fast feet, move to the ball, square yourself to your target, etc.
Yeah, funny about volleyball too is sometimes people think it's just tall people, 6 foot tall playing volleyball.
No.
You've coached all types of sizes.
Every size from the smallest to the tallest, yes.
Right, and of course, it still takes the whole village to make them win, but there's nothing like still seeing a spike, but it's the before and after. Sometimes it takes several volleys and rallies to win a point. You got to be patient too, correct?
Yes. Volleyball is where you've got football, you've got the offense on the field, they play. You've got the defense on the field, they play. With volleyball, every play is defense and offense. The ball comes over the net, you're playing defense. But the moment you pass that ball, you shift instantly to offense. And at that point, the moment the ball goes over the net, you are now shifting immediately back to defense. So it's a constant shift in mindset.
We talked with our analyst who was doing the game with us about knowing the lines, knowing where your feet are, because a lot of times if you hit the ball too hard in the serve, you automatically lose that point. But it can be tricky when we do the game at work because there's so many lines, Jane, from the basketball court, it can really throw your eyes off.
It's not just basketball, it's pickleball and PE and everything else. The lines sometimes are faded. There's some gyms you go to that you've got a brown court and really light yellow so that the basketball, which is in bright red or bright blue, it can be more easily seen. So the girls, one of the things I always tell them is walk the court, look at the court, find out where are you playing? Where's the court today?
Yeah, because every element's going to be different. Every gym is going to be different. High school, college, whatever.
Absolutely.
But when you talk about some of the stops along the way, you're from Ohio. Where are some of the places you've coached at?
Well, I started out coaching at Williamsburg Rec when my children were that age. Excuse me, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade. And then when my daughter moved up to middle school, she was attending Toano, and I started as an assistant coach there for 2 years, and then I was the head coach 1 year. And then I kind of just moved up to Dozier's head coach. They started middle school sports in 2010, so I'm the first and only girls volleyball coach that school has ever had.
That's great. We've enjoyed really doing your championships at Warwick High School. It's a lot of fun. I love how the parents get involved. Somebody wins, somebody loses, but it's like we always say, it's how you play the game. But there's nothing like seeing that satisfaction in the girls' or the boys' eyes when they win the championship. That hard work pays off.
Absolutely. One of the things I always tell them is your goal is to get to the championship. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. You walk away with a medal, no matter which, but everybody knows. Everybody wants the gold.
Right. Well, talk about what are the keys to your success? Is it your coaching style, you being proactive, you using some of your science methods from teaching? I mean, you've got the perfect science formula because every time we're there, we see Jane in the championship. That's a given.
Years ago, when I was much younger, as a young adult, I participated in a young women's soccer team. And I had a coach who was a very unique person. Didn't speak English well, had a very poor relationship with deodorant. But you know something? He was the absolute best coach I've ever had. He would have us go along and say, take your right foot, move it this way, and would make us just do that drill over and over again. Left foot, this way, that way. And when it came time for a game, we all gathered around him and said, hey, we've never even been on a field before. We have no idea how to play this game. And he said, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Just do exactly what I've told you to do. He put me on left wing. I said, I have no idea. What is a wing? I've never been on a soccer team in my life. He said, no worry, no worry. Just do this, cross, go like that. We had a 10-0 season. He was the absolute best coach I've ever had. So what I have always taken from that is mechanics. These kids, they're middle school kids in a game, volleyball. Track, they've been running since they were in diapers. Basketball, they've been playing on the local playground since they were 5. They have no idea how to play volleyball. They come in, they're swinging their arms, they've got their butt up in the air. You have to teach them how to play the game. So it's mechanics, mechanics, mechanics. When you serve, where's your elbow? Where's your arm? Are you down here? Are you full extension? Everything is mechanics.
Exactly, and it's consistency with what I'm hearing in your voice from your former coach, and you know, it's every day you do the same thing over and over, and of course those little things turn into big things, and then you want to get to the championship game. But these players also have to try to get along, be civil with each other on the court when they're playing, because in order to make a championship team, everybody, including your assistants, have to be on the same page.
I'm very, very big on behavior and grades. These are middle school students, and they are the creature that they are. They are, on one hand, they are children turning into beautiful young ladies, and on the other hand, they have a role model on social media that emphasizes drama to get likes. We don't need drama on my team. We don't have time for it. Grades and behavior are very important. My 8th graders, they know. If your grades aren't up, you will be sitting. I will lose a game. I will lose a championship. If you do not have the grades, you will be sitting. I sit my players, I have managers, I'll sit a manager. You don't get to participate today. A teacher comes up to me and says, hey, coach, young lady was disrespectful today in class. Really, give me a name. And she's cleaning the floors today. Hey, coach, there's teachers that they know. They don't need to have the child written up. I'll take care of it.
Right. You've also done some scorekeeping. You've worked at the collegiate level.
Yes.
You've got a lot of things that you do outside of being at Ella. So talk about some of those things.
I started as an official in 1991 in Ohio. I started officiating high school here in 1994. I officiated for 26, 27, 28. I actually lost count years. Here in Virginia, I have officiated at every level from grassroots to state tournaments. I also am a scorekeeper for NCAA. I frequently am at William & Mary or Hampton, either one, during the fall.
Do you learn something from watching those college teams? I mean,
absolutely.
That you picked to show back to your team?
One of the best ways to learn is to stand on that ladder as an official, You've got a coach screaming a kid's name and yelling at this kid for something, and I'm sitting there standing quietly watching and thinking, you know something, that coach isn't telling her the right thing. She is leaning forward when she's hitting the ball. She needs to stand straight up. Again, mechanics are everything. Just yelling at a child isn't going to get them to hit that ball any better, teaching them the right way.
And it starts at home. You have to deal with the parents too. Like you said, academics, athletics, activities. You have to be in the right mindset because it's mind, body, and spirit to win a championship. Every game is its own element.
Absolutely, absolutely. I really enjoy working with parents. Middle school parents, we all have the same. We all have the same goal, to make successful young ladies out of these girls. So working with parents is usually not all that difficult. I mean, once in a while you've got someone who has a misunderstanding, but it can usually be cleared up. I've really, in all these years, I love my parents as much as I love the kids. For me, it's the relationships with the kids. To be a mentor. I have kids that come up to me, and at the start of the season, grades don't count. By the middle of the year, they're coming up to me, and they're not asking about what game or what we're doing at practice. They're like, Coach, look at my grades, look at my grades. That D, it's up to a C. The C, it's up to a B. Another one, I've got all A's and B's now. They're proud to be a part of something that is not just volleyball.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you so much for your time, your talent, and your treasure. Continued success. You've done great at Dozier and, of course, at Fitzgerald. You're a retired science teacher.
Yes.
And, of course, enjoying some retirement, but still working in volleyball.
Love it.
And thank you so much. I want to thank our guests for our April show today, Shomari, Wright, and Jade Marioneaux. Wonderful people talking about football and the wonderful sport of volleyball as well. I want to thank our entire crew as always. It always takes a crew, whether we do sporting events or interview shows like this or school board meetings. And of course, you can watch some of the archived volleyball championships on NNPS Telecom. For Ray Price, I'm Greg Bicaveras. Happy April, and we'll talk to you soon.